Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to our regular cybersecurity awareness training. So in October, last month, we had Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and what I'm trying to do with this particular training is review all the great lessons we learned throughout that month. If you remember, we covered a lot of these things as part of the weekly Cybersecurity Friday newsletter, along with daily email blasts that went out to staff. So I'm going to cover a lot of that. I have a couple of fun little videos here as well. So here we go. Let's learn some stuff about cybersecurity awareness. So today's topics, we're going to talk about strong passwords and password managers. We're going to review our monthly phishing campaigns, why we do it. Of course, multi-factor authentication and mobile devices. Understanding phishing, malware, and viruses, of course. Then I'm going to do a super quick roundup of that information in a slide or two. And then we're going to talk about email, text messaging, and how they relate to right to know law. And here's a little quick, I thought this was a nice video, my cyber maniacs Muppets. So take a look at this. Let's watch this together and have a laugh.
I was amazed you still had change out of a fiver. So, this is where you'll be sitting while you take with us. Who's your login? What's your password? And I don't know is your security question. Well, that's what I want to find out. So it's told you, who's your login? What's your password? And I don't know is your security question.
Are you system admin? Good. Are you also my IT department?
Yeah.
You don't know the login?
Of course I do.
Well then, who's the login?
Yeah.
No, I mean the fellow's who? Who? What's the login for this computer?
Who?
What, the person that sits in this chair?
Who?
The person that is in the queue?
Who's the login?
What are you asking me for?
That's the man's name.
Whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
That's it.
That's who?
Hey, Joe, we got another runner.
Wasn't that funny? I like that. Let's get back to our presentation here. Okay. So let's talk about strong passwords and password managers. So here's 3 fast password tips that, regardless of password managers or whatever, you should certainly be following these 3 basic rules. Make your passwords long, at least 16 characters. Longer is stronger. This is why password managers, and we'll get to them, are so important. Who can remember 16 characters? Make them random, meaning the characters should be random. They should be random throughout all your different accounts. Your Facebook and your banking account should not have the same password. Make them unique amongst all your accounts, as I just said. Do not use the same password across multiple accounts. Password managers are incredibly important today, and I would almost say they are now basic security. Everyone should be using a password manager. And why do I say that? Because you need to have different passwords that are long, unique, encrypted for all of our countless accounts. So your passwords need to be random. They need to be new and changed once in a while. They should be different across all your sites. A password manager would store all of this information in one location. And it also will help you create the passwords. You don't have to think about what should this password be. As a matter of fact, with a password manager, you don't even know what your passwords are. If you ask me what my password for any particular account is, I would not know. I would have to refer to my password manager. And of course, another hidden bonus for password managers today is they will tell you if your passwords are good. They will tell you if it's been breached in a cyber attack. They can watch all this stuff and give you good information about your security online, amongst many other things. And of course, there are so many password companies to choose from today. They can be a daunting experience to pick one, but really you should pick one and spend some quality time doing that. why you should use a password manager. Well, password managers not only let you manage hundreds of unique passwords for all of your accounts, but many of these services also offer other advantages. And here are just some basic advantages any of these password managers are going to offer you. You're going to save a lot of time. How often do you have to think about what was that password? And you got to look it up. You got to try multiple ones. Sometimes you have to do a password reset because you just can't figure it out. So it's going to save you a lot of time. It works across all of your devices and operating systems. If you have a Mac, a couple Windows PCs, a mobile device, a tablet, you can access your password manager through all of these devices. Protects your identity. It's going to watch online, as I said earlier in the previous slide, if it sees a password or your account has been involved in a latest breach, it will let you know. It will notify you if a site is known for phishing when you hit that. It alerts you if a password's been compromised. We talked about that. These are just some of the basic benefits that any good password manager offers. All of them are worth your time. And as you can see here, it works across all of your platforms. So no matter what you're using, you have access to passwords. These are just some of the popular passwords today. LastPass. I used that for many, many, many years. I've recently switched over to 1Password, but there's Dashlane, NordPass, Keeper, and there's many others. Choose one of these you must. If you ever want to spend some time one-on-one learning about these and maybe even setting one up, I'd be certainly happy to help anyone do that. Most of these come with a free version and a paid version. I recommend the paid version. They're usually less than $100 for a year. And just think of all the time you will save and all the security benefits. It's well worth that small amount of money to protect your information. So there are many options here. They are all better than using a notebook at home. And there are many people have a little notebook, or a notepad on your computer, or a Word document, or your memory. All of these are far superior to any of those. So let's talk now on part 2 here about our monthly phishing campaigns. For about the past year and a half, I've been sending out a monthly phishing campaign. And what this is, I can design an email that looks suspicious, also looks like it could be real. And this is not just to trick and mess with all my coworkers, but it is to keep us constantly trained and thinking about phishing. It lets us gauge where we need to train, and how to train, and who to train. So it's a really important tool in today's cybersecurity fight that organizations have. So let's talk about these. An important part of any organization's cybersecurity defense is you. We can have a lot of software and hardware solutions, and the IT staff is trained, but it is really through the education of our staff that we can protect our organization and, of course, protect each other. I always say all the things we learn here with cybersecurity, it's one of the few things you can learn at work, and it is almost just as relevant at home. So all these things you learn, use them at home as well. So monthly phishing campaigns bring regular training and awareness. Each month after the campaign has been completed, we can see how successful we were in not interacting with that message, and we can see who has interacted, if anybody has, with that message. So we send out information each month, recapping that lesson and what that message is trying to do. And then we follow up with anyone who may have interacted with that message with more detailed information. So these are just some of the campaigns we had through this past year. And you can see here's one that's just coming from Microsoft Teams. It's trying to trick the user to click here, of course, from Microsoft Teams. Just because an email says it's from a platform you're familiar with, email or Teams or ADP or any solution that we use, doesn't mean it's true. So be very cautious. Here's one asking you to attend a WebEx meeting and install software. Do not install anything without the IT department being aware of it. One of the protections we do have here is that employees cannot install applications. If you were to click on this and if it's a real phishing one, it would prompt you to contact us to do the install. However, do not click on anything that tells you to install something. If it's coming from something like WebEx or Zoom, check with IT, report that message to us. Here, another lesson right here. It says you have exceeded your limit on your OneDrive. Microsoft will normally not send email directly or notification directly to an employee. They will send it to the administrative department. So Jeff or I would get an email if there was a problem with someone's storage. So you see these things, send them to us. Just because they're saying they're coming from WebEx, Microsoft, and Zoom in this case, does not mean it's really coming from them. Another powerful phishing message that comes a lot, or asking you to open a document, open an agreement. If you did not ask for something, do not open it. Report that to us. If you don't recall asking for an agreement, anything looks suspicious, report that message right away to the IT department. Here, look, this is another one that we created that it was sending this email about your personal credit score. You're not going to get, hopefully, information about your personal credit score or credit information on your work email. If you receive messages like this, report that to IT. Someone offers you, in this case 7-Eleven, a free meal. That's a warning sign that it's a phishing message. Anything that sounds too good to be true often is. Report these messages to us. Do not click claim offer. Another one coming from Teams. Remember, cyber criminals and most people can use Photoshop to make anything look legitimate. They're trying to trick you. They know you're comfortable with Teams. Maybe you're going to click on that. That's not something you would normally see. Report the message. And here's one last one. During the holidays, you're going to get a lot of things like this. Ignore these. Report them to IT. And at home, delete them. Report them as, you can usually right-click on a message and say report as phishing, report it as suspicious, block in the future. Do those things at home. Do not click on these messages. Another thing we do is our Cybersecurity Friday newsletter, and of course recognizing all of our Cybersecurity All-Stars. Each Friday we celebrate. To me, it's a big celebration. Every Friday is Cybersecurity Friday. I love when I walk through the department and my coworkers on Thursday with a lot of happiness and excitement. We'll say, "Billy, tomorrow is Cybersecurity Friday. What's in store for us?" That makes me very happy. So it's a fun event. It's an event in which every Friday we can look at timely topics and keep the education and the training going. We even cover current events. There's a big data breach. So I try to write a little bit about that and point you in a direction where you can learn more. We celebrate our Cybersecurity All-Stars in each exciting issue. This is important because the All-Stars are those of you, when you see something suspicious, even if it's just spam, whenever you see that is not, you don't think it's a legitimate message, when you forward that to IT, we can go into the system and we can check that message, see if it has gone to any other employee. We can see if anyone has interacted, clicked on it, done anything with that, and that gives us direction to what computer to check, what employee to talk to. And of course, we can take that email and remove it and block it in the future. So that's a really big tool that we have. And all of you have the potential to be a Cybersecurity All-Star. And you can end up in the newsletter if you take it seriously, send us any suspicious messages, and be part of our cybersecurity defenses. So hopefully every Friday, we all look forward to this newsletter, as much as I look forward to writing it each week. Multi-factor authentication and mobile devices. Today we all know what mobile factor authentication is because we all use it. Some organizations don't give you a choice. Your bank account, for example, I am sure if you forget your password or you're just logging in, they're going to send you a text message with a PIN number, or maybe you're using an app, a multi-factor authentication app. These are becoming more and more common. In fact, here, it's required for all the Microsoft accounts. Everyone has the Microsoft Authenticator app on their phone, or they just get a text message, however you chose to do it. We're in the process of expanding it to a new multi-factor authentication app, Duo, which will also protect us inside the network from bad actors. So what does two-factor do? Well, it's very basic. It adds an extra law of protection alongside your password. It's two factors. So when you put a password in, it's not good enough. It wants to know it's really you, because someone could steal your password. So it's going to send you a code on your authenticator app or send you a text message. That's two factors, your password and a device that you have authorized to receive a two-factor message. This is an incredibly important part of protecting yourselves and our organization here. You'll hear this referred to as two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication. Secure your mobile apps. Of course, on your mobile devices, on your phones, tablets. Use strong passwords. If Touch ID or biometrics or passcodes are available, use those as well. These security measures will help protect your information if your devices were lost and stolen. I know I have from time to time lost track of my mobile phone, and that can be a panic move. So if you have these things in place, it's a little less panic if you can't find it right away. Of course, think before you install apps. Do you really need that app? A lot of apps come with a lot of baggage. Remember this when you install apps, games you like to play, all kinds of things, places you shop. They are going to collect information about you, and be aware of that when you install apps. Keep your mobile devices up to date. This is really important, just like the computer. It can be a pain when you see the big updates due and you don't want to take the time to do the update. Always do the updates to the phone and the updates to your apps on your mobile devices. Very often these updates, just like on your Windows computer, not only do they include enhancements to the actual application, so it's better, so the operating system has more features, they're responding to security problems and they're installing security patches to make your device secure. So it's not all fun and games. There's a lot of security updates that are done that you need to get on your devices. Delete apps when you are done with them. Very often we install an app that we're planning a vacation, or maybe it's a game, or maybe it's for buying tickets to a show or something. When you're done with that app, go back and delete it if you do not need it. These are just apps that are sitting around collecting information about you. So keep the apps on your device that you need. And once you don't, delete them. You can always install them later. Connect with care. I've talked about this many times. Avoid public Wi-Fi networks. Wi-Fi networks that are free and they do not require you to have an account or a password. You should have no expectation that they are secure. And because they're not secure, people can snoop on these and watch and collect information from your device. So avoid them at all costs, especially if you're doing email for work or banking or shopping. You do not want to be on a public Wi-Fi. Use the cellular connection, your 4G or your 5G connection. One of the reasons public Wi-Fi came about many years ago is cellular service was expensive. I remember you would get these data charges if you went over. So companies like, coffee shops and pubs and restaurants, they would offer free Wi-Fi to lure you into the store. Maybe you have a cup of coffee, maybe you have some lunch, and you're on the Wi-Fi getting work done. That's really not as necessary anymore, because most of your cellular service is going to pretty much have enough cellular monthly service that you can just use your phone and not use a Wi-Fi. And know that a 4G or 5G connection is encrypted and secure, just as secure as a bank requires when you're doing a bank transaction. Very secure. So avoid the free Wi-Fis. Use your cellular connection when you're out and about. You will protect your information by doing that. Understanding phishing. Now I have another little funny video here from my Muppets that I like. I like these cybersecurity Muppets. So let's watch this together, and then we'll move on and talk about some more phishing. There we go. Here we go.
when my inbox gets a nasty surprise. That fishy smell goes up to my eyes. Weird emails and something is strange. Account information or something has changed. Emails seem fishy, I know what to do. Listen to me and you can be safe too. Forward and delete, forward and delete. See your IT department send it your way and you can return to your working day.
I love this guy.
Gotta listen up. Packages I didn't order online. Phishing scams make fools all the time. Prince is asking to transfer money. You ain't that rich, so move on, honey. Emails seem fishy, I know what to do. Listen to me, and you can be safe too. Forward and delete, forward and delete. See your IT department send it away, and you can return to your working day. Attachment zip files and links galore. I know this training can seem such a bore.
No, it's not.
But fishers will try to snare you online. Come on, boys, we ain't got the time. Forward and delete, you know it makes sense. Forward and delete, listen to me. Forward and delete, don't be a fool. Forward and delete, come on, guys. Forward and delete, you're making me look bad. Forward and delete, come on. Forward and delete, it's easy.
I gotta say, I love that guy. Okay, no more videos. Back to learning. Phishing signs to understand. Phishing emails and text messages often tell a story to trick you into clicking on a link or opening an attachment. Unexpected or unsolicited emails and text messages should be avoided. The message could be from a scammer who might. You probably, I know you've all seen these. Say they've noticed something suspicious in your activity or your login attempts. They haven't. They may claim there's a problem with your account or your payment information. There isn't. And what I'll say here is, if it says it's some Visa or Chase or your another credit card company or your bank or whatever, ignore the message. If you want to double check, go directly to that company's website or call them to double check, just to make yourself feel good about it. But do not respond from that email. They may say you need to confirm some personal or financial information. You don't have to. They will not do this through email. It may include an invoice you don't recognize. It's fake. This is very common. They may want you to click on a link or make a payment. Be aware the link probably has malware or some other bad thing there. Don't do it that way. Once again, says it's from Amazon, your credit card company. Once you make a payment, delete that message. If you want to, go directly out there and check there. It may say you're eligible to register for a government refund. You know that's a scam. They may offer you a coupon or for free stuff. That's not real either. All these things are trying to trick you. What to do if you suspect a phishing attack? If you get an email or a text message that asks you to click on the link or open an attachment, answer this question to yourself. Do I have an account with that company? Or do I know the person who contacted me? If the answer is no, it's probably a phishing scam. Go back and review the advice on how to recognize phishing that we've talked about before, and look for signs of a scam. If you see them, report the message to IT. If it's a work email, delete it. If it's at home, delete the message. If the answer is yes, hey, I know that company, but this kind of doesn't look familiar. As I keep saying, because this works. Delete the message, contact the company using a phone number or directly on their website to confirm the information. There's 10 tips to help ID your phishing messages that are coming in. Okay? So I'll go through these 10 tips real fast. Always think before you're opening an email from an unknown sender. Be wary of all attachments and scan them before opening. I say scan them, just delete it. On a computer, you can right-click on a file, and you can say scan that. It will use your active antivirus software. I wouldn't even go that far. I would just delete the message. Look for misspellings and poor grammar in emails. These are telltale signs that this is a phishing message. Confirm that the name and email address are consistent. Just because it says it's from William Mann, if you can hover over my name in the email normally, or right-click on it, it will tell you what the email address is. And if it's an email address that's not mine, you know someone has spoofed my name. That's very common. Hover over the cursor over a link to see the address. So if you see a hyperlink, or a link, you can hover over that. It's going to give you the actual email address. If it looks different or odd in that, ignore it. Probably phishing. If you think is that this from Amazon, but it doesn't look like Amazon, go to Amazon.com directly and go into your account and check. Be suspicious of messages that contain threats that request urgent attention or create fear. Almost any email that is trying to create fear or threaten you is a phishing message. Do not ever give out passwords or any personal information to anyone over email. Even if you're sending it to a legitimate person with personal information on there, that email could be intercepted or go somewhere else that you lost control of. So you send a message to me, and you want me to have all this personal information, and you're sending it to me through email. I could be a bad guy. I could share it with other people. Someone could steal it from me. So even though you send it to a legitimate person, it could still end up in the wrong place. So just avoid personal information in email. It includes financial information as well. Also, be aware of fraudulent links posted on social media that compromise and affect the individual social media account. Now, people's Facebook accounts, their TikTok accounts, and even their LinkedIn accounts get hacked all the time. Just because it says it's from someone, really double check and make sure it's from them before you interact with these messages. Report any suspicious emails to your IT department if it's for. When in doubt, report it. That's why we're here. It really comes down to being cautious and careful. Be cautious of opening emails from an unfamiliar sender, and be extra careful before clicking a link or opening an attachment. What is malware? That guy looks scary, doesn't he? Malware is one of the biggest threats to the security of your computer, tablet, or phone. This is because malware will include within it a virus, spyware, ransomware, and other unwanted software that gets installed onto your device. Once malware is on your device, criminals can then use it to steal sensitive information, send you unwanted or inappropriate ads, demand payment to unscramble data, known as ransomware, and even make your device vulnerable to even more ransomware. They can use your device to send out spam. They can use your device to steal your information. They can use your device to monitor your activity. Malware is a bad thing, so you definitely want to avoid it. Using all of these tips that we've been talking about. Uh-oh, I see a phishing email. What should I do? Well, I can tell you this, don't panic. Yeah, don't panic, don't worry. If you've already done the hard part, you've already done the hard part. What you've done is you recognize that the email is a fake. So there's no reason to panic. Because remember, just looking at the email, not interacting with it, there's no danger there. So you have to recognize it. So that's a good thing. Don't panic. If you're at the office and the email came to your work email, report it to us as quickly as possible. Again, what we do when we report that is we can go into the system. We can see did that email go to anybody else. Very often it has. We can pull the email back right out of the inboxes, take it away, stop any damage, stop anybody from clicking on it. Then we can go and see did anyone interact with the message. And that is a big tool for us to be able to protect the organization. I said that a lot because I want everyone to be aware of that. It's very important. If the email came to your personal email, don't do what it says. Do not click on any of the links. Even the unsubscribe link. This is another point. Don't have an unsubscribe link. It just says unsubscribe. It has a nasty link there just because it says unsubscribe. it doesn't mean that that's what it's going to do. So don't interact in any way with it. Do not reply back to the email. Just delete it. Remember, don't click on the links or on it, just delete. You can take your protection a step further and block the sender's email from your email program. Very often you can right click on the email address in your email program and you can say block. Do that when you get a suspicious email. Even an email you just don't want anymore. How does a computer get a virus? Those guys are scary. Not me, the guys right next to me. The most common reason your computer will get infected is because you downloaded or installed infected files. Pirated media and free games are common culprits, and so are phishing attacks that you click on a bad link, button, or email attachment. Once clicked, the virus or other malware installs itself on your computer. Also, viruses can infect your computer when you visit bad websites. I'll say that real quickly also. Stay on websites that you're familiar with. Don't just go to any old website. Stay to reputable, well-known websites. Very often now, when you do a search on Google for something, you almost always want to avoid the top 3 or 4 and go down to the middle of that search engine, of the search results. Companies pay to be on top. And a lot of times, bad companies pay to on top. This is what got Google in trouble a little bit. They take money from companies that don't have the best intentions, and they put their search results up on top. And people will click on the first thing they see. So look at those search results closely, all the way down that first page, to find the one you really want. Avoid using USB sticks. Someone hands you a USB stick, or you find one. Do not stick that in your computer. You do not know where that's been. How to tell if your computer has a virus. If you notice any of these symptoms, your computer may have a problem. Computer starts to slow down, the performance is bad, you notice it's taking a longer time to do things, such as open programs. It unexpectedly shuts down and starts restarting on its own. Files are missing. The system's crashing often. Get error messages, pop-up ads. You see applications that you don't recall installing. If you have grandchildren or children, maybe the program's staying installed on there. But if you have programs you're not familiar with, that could be a danger sign. And speaking of grandchildren or children, if you have a computer that you use, just so it can work, you can make it so those users have their own profile and they cannot install programs. So your grandchild or your child can use the computer, but they can't install anything. If you need any advice on that, let me know. But that's a really good thing to do at home. Is if you have 3 grandchildren, actually you can make a profile for each one of them. And that's what they use to use your computer, or your tablet even. Your hard drive is overworking itself. You can hear it running, loud noise. It could be a hardware problem, or it could be a virus. Emails are being sent out from your account without you sending them. Not only was your email account could have been spoofed, but they could also have access to your PC. The web browser ends up being slow. The web browsers you're not even familiar with. The home page, you open up the web browser and it's taking you to a home page that you used to have CNN on it, or MSN, and now it's something completely different. You see a lot of ads. These are all signs that your computer could have a virus. And your antivirus program is not running. You look at it, you're familiar with it, and it's disabled. Well, a lot of these viruses, they will go in and disable your antivirus. Text messages are now a place where you're getting spam and phishing emails. So this is, relatively new, the past couple of years. It's getting more and more prevalent. Scammers like to send text messages to trick you into giving them your personal information, things like your password, your account number, some security information. If they can get that, they can gain access to your email, your bank, and other accounts. So we're all very comfortable with getting text messages all the time. But now, I'm sure everybody's seeing these unsolicited text messages coming through. They need to be ignored and blocked. Scammers are going to try to get you to click on the link in a text message. You're on the run, you're doing 3 things, you're talking to your buddy, you're talking to or a family member, and you get a text message, and you look at it, you might click on it without even thinking it's a text message. Don't do that. No. These messages might ask you to give you some personal, may ask you to give some personal information, like how much money you make, all these other things. Ignore all this. This is becoming more and more common. Watch for fake text messages. Delete them. What to do about spam messages? If you get a text message you weren't expecting, and they ask you to give some personal information, don't click on any links. Remember this: legitimate companies will not ask you for information in a text message. If you think the message might be real, I say this again, contact the company using a phone number or a website, not the information in the text message. Be cautious sharing information. Be cautious when you're sharing information, such as surveys and quizzes. Scammers like to create fake surveys and quizzes. They know we like to do these things. Do not respond to these. Cybersecurity Roundup. These are some basic things to kind of round all this stuff up real quickly. Take your password security seriously. Get a password manager and take the time to learn how to use it. And be willing to invest a few dollars in it. My office is always open. I am always personally available if people want to learn more about password managers. It's not as hard as you think. And at the end of the day, it will save you a lot of time and grief. Use multi-factor authentication whenever possible. Go out to your credit card websites. Log into your account. Go to the security section. Take the time to add two-factor. Get comfortable with the two-factor authentication app. You can use Duo. Microsoft Authenticator is a good one. I'm not as big fan of the Google one, but that's another one. LogMeIn has one. LastPass has one. Remember, you have no obligation to respond to unsolicited email or text messages. Great rule to follow. Just because someone sends you an email doesn't mean you have to respond to it. Same thing with the text message. Remember, cyber criminals work hard to instill a sense of urgency in your messages. If people are doing this, ignore it. When in doubt, there's a great rule here, I've said this a couple times now. When in doubt about the legitimacy of a message, do not respond directly from the email, or click a link or download an attachment. Reach out to the sender independent from that message. It's a great rule to follow. Be smart, take your time, and when in doubt, ignore the message. If it is in your work email, report it to the IT department without delay. If you received it, others may have as well. Okay, we're going to talk real quickly about right to know, email, and text messaging. Under the current right to know law, all state and local government agencies' records are presumed to be public. Did you know that your email, your text messages, and even your voicemail are subject to the Pennsylvania right to know law? I'm talking about your professional email, your professional voicemail, and if you have an assigned mobile device, professional text messages. All these are public knowledge. So here are some things I'll say about this. Think before you send. Recommendation. Always remember that our organization's email is subject to the right to know law. Consider this. How would you feel if a third party read the email message? Would you be comfortable with it? Could it be misunderstood? If so, do any of these simply communicate? If any of this is true, sorry about that. I'm not re-recording for that one club. How would you feel if a third party read the email message? Would you be comfortable with it? Could it be misunderstood? If so, communicate in a different way. Pick up a phone. Have a face-to-face conversation with the person. You do not have to respond and communicate through email. Slow down. I just did, I slowed down. Slow down when writing email messages and think about it before sending. If you have any doubt regarding its accurateness or how it will be received, stop and consider another method of communication. And understand this, our email is archived and will live on for a very long time. In fact, none of our email can be deleted. The IT department cannot delete the messages permanently. So they are not removed from our archive. And if it is requested through a right to know law, we have to gather that information and release it. So once you send it, it is subject to the right to know law. Be aware of these things as we work in our day-to-day lives and how we communicate. Now, if you were in a real class, of this, we would have talked about cybersecurity, open question about all these topics and more. But because you're not in the real class, feel free to, my office is open. We can schedule time and talk about any of these and anything more that you would like to discuss. So with that, I thank you for watching this whole video. I do not know how long it is. I apologize. I tried to take my time, and I only had one major flub there, so that's pretty good. So have a good cybersecurity safe holiday as well. Holidays are a major time for cybersecurity activity, for phishing and malware and all these scams. Be very cautious around the holidays. Keep your shopping online to legitimate sites. Do not click on links. And there you go. Hope you enjoyed the training, and see all of you guys soon. Take care.